Are streaming live, and I am excited to introduce you to Karen Ranzi today. So, because we're going to be talking about the Raw Vegan Challenge, among many things that we're going to be talking about today, I want to make sure that you text, tag, call your friends, email them, let them know that we're on, because the algorithms of social media are trying to make me disappear. But you, my listening and viewing friend, will be a helpful aid to us by you tagging and liking and following, do all those things that you need to do so that we can continue to grow together. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the, just want to make sure that we're also on YouTube, and all of you YouTube wonderful people out there, just excited today because it seems like it's even more real because we're doing the Raw Vegan Challenge pretty soon, as in Monday. We start on Monday. So it's not too late to join for sure. Okay, so I'm going to hit the record button and we will get started in a minute. Okay, everybody, it is time. It is time to get out of your comfort zone. It is time to dispel the myths of nutrition and eating raw vegan, maybe. And it's time to get in the moment, and it's time to learn and grow together. We have Karen Ranzi as our teacher, and we're going to learn a lot today. So it's time to dance. Get in the moment. Here we go.
The Lillian McDermott Show.
We love, we fear, bridges we burn, we make mistakes, then we live and learn. When life gets tough and it seems like your best ain't good enough, if you're in need of hope, you know where I'll be right here, right here. And when you need a friend, you can count on me. I'll be right here waiting for you.
This is the place you can always turn to when you need a friend. The Lillian McDermott Show. To reach out to Lillian, visit her on the web at whenyouneedafriend.com. Now let's all learn together. Here's Lillian McDermott.
Hello, my listening and viewing friend. It's so nice we can meet each other on the air on this beautiful, best day ever. And for those of you who are new to the classroom, please know I've been waiting for you. This is a safe place where you can go to when you need a friend. It is my commitment to provide natural ways to heal, and it is my mission to make awareness, responsibility, and truth a part of our everyday life. And I hope you, my listening, as well as my viewing friend, will feel empowered to embrace a new truth and live the life of your dreams, your best life ever. And let me tell you, many of us are thinking that we're healthy, that we're doing really well in life, but we don't know what we don't know. Many years ago, in 2012, towards 2012, 2013, when I was going through becoming a coach, a life coach, I was challenged on the show. I was beginning to start looking at things differently. And I was challenged to go raw vegan for 30 days. And I said, bring it. I can do anything that's legal and doesn't harm my body for 30 days. So here's what happened. 4 days after I accepted the challenge and I started researching and doing everything I could to eat all these veggies that I thought I was a good eater, and found out that it was different than that. 4 days later, I felt really, really good. But here's the deal. I didn't feel bad. I didn't know I could feel better. And this is the challenge today. And one of the reasons God brought Karen Ranzi into my life, because she's been raw vegan, wow, for a long time. And she'll tell her story of her transformation. She went from regular eating to vegan eating. And when a health crisis kind of came to her life, it made her even go beyond optimal excellence in eating with raw vegan. Since then, her life has changed. Her life is helping people as a certified raw vegan coach, and you could become a coach with her as well. And we're going to learn with her during the 30-day raw vegan challenge. And since it is our sole purpose in life to give and receive love and knowledge, I am grateful that she accepted the challenge to help us go raw vegan. Thank you, Karen, for being in the classroom today. I'm looking forward to working with you for the next 30 days.
Thank you so much, Lillian. I'm really excited to be with you and to join your program and to just help people jumpstart their healthy raw vegan lifestyle, no matter where they are on their own path.
Absolutely. And, we really want to speak to all, but many people think that they eat really healthy. Maybe they're already vegetarian or they're already vegan. And so we want to one-up it, just like one-up it for people that are carnivores and are eating a standard American diet. And you want to maybe increase vegetables in your life. This challenge is for you too. So, you don't have to go 100% raw vegan, although we want you to. This is what the challenge is for. But depending on where you're at, we want to meet you where you're at. So if you still haven't made that transition to vegetarian or vegan or whatever, we really would like to invite you, the people that are processed foods and maybe eating a lot of meats, to just increase vegetables in your life. So Karen, you fell out of the sky. Apparently, we have a couple of viewers that know who you are. They reached out to you and you reached out to me. And so share a little bit about your background. Have you always eaten raw vegan, and how did your journey go for you?
I was very fortunate in a way that I had a grandmother who was a raw vegan before the time when vegan or raw were even words. Because back in 1921, my paternal grandmother had asthma and emphysema. And her diet was mainly animal food and cooked vegetables. And she was hospitalized. Her emphysema was quite at a serious state. And the doctors said that it was so bad they didn't expect her to live another few months. But many people are not willing to change their diet and their lifestyle, even in those life-threatening situations. But my grandmother had an extreme motivator, and that was that she was a single mom, and my father was 4 years old. So she was very motivated. She didn't have anybody to take care of my father at the time. And she got a little book called The Mucusless Diet Healing System that came out in 1918. And it was all about plant foods and how to eat plant foods to heal. And she got that book, and it changed her life forever. And it changed her history, and it came down to my history. And I didn't grow up eating the way that she did, even though I watched her. My mother did not believe that we could get enough protein on a plant-powered lifestyle. She just did not believe it. And even though my father and my grandmother were eating this healthy way, she did not believe that we could do it. And so I grew up on a pretty much standard American diet. And in my adolescent years, I developed severe cystic acne, and it went on for like over 25 years. And it wasn't until much later on that I realized that it was diet and lifestyle. It wasn't anything else. I didn't want to listen to my father and my grandmother. I wanted to believe that I could eat all of the dairy and processed foods. I loved cheddar cheese. And at age 17, I did go vegetarian for ethical reasons, but I didn't understand that the dairy industry is like the most unethical business. And all of the cruelty that goes on in the dairy industry. By the time, and my skin was some of the worst times I've ever had was during the times I was eating so much dairy. It wasn't until 1989 that I realized that in order to be a really true ethical vegetarian, I needed to take the step to vegan. Mm. And when I did go to vegan, that's when things really started to change. That's when my cystic acne completely healed. And especially when I went to Whole Foods and got off the processed foods. And then in 1994, because my son had asthma and chronic ear infections, even as a vegan. So for those of you who are vegan and you're not understanding your health challenges, you may need to go to an extra step by going more to whole, fresh plant foods. And that's where we saw the true healing with the asthma and chronic ear infections that my son was having. And also that's when the scarring, I had scarring for years. So a lot of that scarring then disappeared. And then in 1994, I went raw vegan and I have not looked back. And I've gotten a lot of value from it. I've worked with clients worldwide. I've written a number of books. 3 of my main books, Creating Healthy Children Through Attachment Parenting and Raw Foods. And then my second book is a recipe book, Raw Vegan Recipe Fund for Families, 115 easy recipes and health tips for energetic living. And my third book, which just came out last August, is Heal and Prevent Autism, Natural Solutions That Work. In addition to being a raw vegan health coach for 24 years now, since 1998, I have also been a speech and language pathologist for 43 years and working with the autism community for 20 of those years.
Wow. Wow.
So that's my story. That's where I am. And I also see that as I get older, that the raw vegan lifestyle serves me even more. The energy that I have, the optimism about life comes from my diet and my lifestyle, and just being able to do everything that I want to do on a day-to-day basis.
You know, there's a lot of myths out there about eating raw vegan. And I remember when I was challenged, prior to being challenged, I said, I would never, ever eat raw vegan. You know, I was like, that's crazy. Or eating vegan, forget vegan, raw vegan. And that's even more challenging. And so it's amazing how your life changes when you say, I would never do something. And all of a sudden you find yourself doing it. And you say, oh my gosh, look what I kept myself from all those years. And I had mentioned to you off the air that I continued that 30-day challenge for 3 years until I met a Dr. Furman, who, you know, I can still eat vegan. I can still have a little bit of animal products. I can still, you know, and when I say a little bit, I mean a little bit, just to keep the balance. There's a lot of myths out there, Karen, of people that eat raw vegan, go insane. They get higher levels of depression, anxiety. What do you say about that myth, or is it true?
I think it can be true. I think a lot of these people are very isolated, doing it on their own. So that's one factor, is the emotional piece. It's very important to have community and support. So if one is doing this alone, I know that in 1994, that when I began, there weren't that many people, but one of the first things I did was look for support. And I began my own community. I even started my own potlucks. We had 3 people at my first potluck, but it grew by leaps and bounds, by leaps and gains. Like it just grew, it flourished. And I now have a meetup group that has close to 800.
Wow.
And I have a big following on my newsletter, my Super Healthy Raw community, but it started very small. So I always tell people, like, you don't want to be isolated. And you certainly don't want to isolate yourself from the mainstream community either. I still have all my friends who haven't changed their diet at all. So you don't want to isolate yourself. And that, I think, is first and foremost the first step there. But then there's also problems. There's all different kinds of vegan and raw vegan diets. And believe me, I've tried them because I've been doing this for decades and I've tried them. And, I want to say that when I went vegan, it was very clear to me that I wasn't only doing it for myself, that I was doing it for the animals, that I was doing it for the planet, the reduction of methane. I was doing it for many reasons. Also, when my kids were young, my kids are 34 and 31 now, but as children, I mean, we live in northern New Jersey, and I would drive the 1.5 hours down to Flemington, New Jersey to see Dr. Furman.
Mm-hmm.
So, already I had support, I had connections within a very plant-powered community. Even the doctors who I went to. Mm-hmm. And I would go out of my way to find that community. But there are people who come to raw veganism very excited about it because of something that they've heard online. There's a lot of information now, and there's a lot of misinformation as well. And one of the things that I see frequently is that people think that they can only eat fruit. Now, I did that for quite a while.
Really?
And I have seen, I thought at one point that was the best. And I do believe that we need to have fruit. However, a lot of these people are missing out in minerals. And they do end up with mineral deficiencies like I did. And so I always recommend to take a look at what you're eating and make sure that you have variety, that you have a lot of variety, and that you do not leave out those important minerals from leafy greens. They are also suppliers of protein, high quality protein, and easily digested protein, whereas animal food protein taxes the liver and the kidneys. And dairy, especially, if you're eating dairy, it puts so much stress on the organs in the digestive process that about 70% of the calcium gets washed out. Whereas leafy greens, you get the protein and you get the calcium, the magnesium, so many vitamins and minerals. You don't want to leave out the leafy greens. And I can't tell you how many times I see that. So that is one myth, that you can be fruitarian and not have to worry about the greens. Now, maybe more so in a tropical environment. Right now, I'm in Costa Rica and I'm eating all local fruits and vegetables. Everything is local. Not one thing that I have gotten in the 2 months I've been down here has been shipped. So it's a different story. The fruit, especially if you have your own fruit trees that are falling down, they are going to be more mineral rich. Mm-hmm. However, I still recommend that you get in those leafy greens. We are not only fruit eaters. We are meant to eat those greens. Mm-hmm. So that's a big one. That's really a big one. Another thing that I find when people come to raw vegan is that whether they've been on a vegan diet and lifestyle or an animal-based or even like a mainstream eating everything lifestyle, when they come to raw vegan, a lot of times they're not eating enough food. And that's another thing that happened to me. I lost a tremendous amount of weight. And so I am usually about 114, 115. That's what I weigh now. And that's a good weight for me. If I go much higher than that, I start to feel sluggish. But if I go way lower, I also don't feel well.
Mhm.
And so I lost way too much weight by not realizing that I had to increase my volume and I needed to get more calories. And so that leads me to another myth. And there are some who say that we need to eat higher in fat. There are some who say that we need to have a lower fat diet. Now, I am very much in sync with Dr. T. Colin Campbell's work in the China study. It's the longest nutrition study ever done, 27-year nutrition study.
Mhm.
And he is professor of nutritional biochemistry,
He's been in the classroom.
totally understanding how the body works. And he was a dairy farmer growing up in Wisconsin. And this man saw the research right in front of his eyes, how when you got closer to the cities where people were eating more animal food, that in his blood work and urine analysis and food diaries that he was getting from people, that there were more cancers. The more you moved out to the rural areas, there was little to no cancer. And he went to the different cantons in China and saw the same thing. And he was so surprised that he was like, let's go to the Philippines and do this and see what we find. Same thing all over again.
Mm-hmm.
And so it is an extremely valid study. Now, even though it's much better to eat plant fat is still fat. So fat is fat, whether plant fat or animal fat. Now, plant fat is way healthier and much easier to digest on our system. However, it's still fat. And I started out in 1994 with a very high fat raw vegan diet, like loads of nuts, seeds, oils, avocado. I still eat those, not oil, but I still eat the other plant foods. But I was eating way too much. I didn't have energy. I didn't have good energy. I was really ready to go back to my healthier whole food vegan diet. But I stuck it out because I did feel a connection with it. I did feel that there was a vibrancy in the foods that I was eating. And that's really what I like to bring up, is that there's so much vibrancy in these foods. Once you cook them, it even loses the color. A lot of the color disappears. Mm-hmm. So you could pretty much see the vibrancy on your plate when you're eating mm-hmm. raw vegan, but you do need to be mindful about many of these myths that, we're being told that we need high fat. Well, we have the nutritional research in books like the China study, in research that we see online, in peer-reviewed medical studies. And one of the reasons that Dr. Campbell and his son Daniel, who is a special education teacher, one of the reasons that they wrote a 3-page foreword for my book, Heal and Prevent Autism, is because the book is it's all well researched, 29 pages of research, and showing the benefits to the autism community for going to plant foods.
It is, you can go down the list and recite the benefits on and on and on. And I want to tell you all that we are not doing the Teacher's Pet Corner today. Our Robert and my daughter, Ashley, is getting married on Saturday. So after the class today, I have a lot of things that I need to do. And so there's not going to be a raw vegan. There's not going to be a Teacher's Pet Corner. So if you have any questions for Karen, type in a Q and write your question down. And if you are thinking about doing the raw vegan challenge, whether you are wanting just to increase more veggies in your life, or if you want to do the raw vegan challenge, all are welcome. We want all of you to understand that every day, every week, we're going to come together as a support system, and we're going to swap recipes, and we're going to do so many different things to help encourage us to grow and give your body what it needs. So we're saying raw vegan because most people understand this, but we're really doing raw plant-based foods. And so that's what we're going to do. For those of you who've already registered, I sent out a 30-minute video of must-haves in my kitchen. And then today, after the class, we're going to be sending everybody who registers the recipes that Karen has shared with us. I'm just so grateful to Karen. You know, as I'm looking at, and I'm listening to my question that I asked you, which is, you know, one of the myths is that people can go crazy and have dementia, depression, and all that. And you're right. We need to monitor our minerals, our nutrients, and we need to see what we're really eating. But here's what happens. There are so many people depressed on a standard American diet. There are so many people that are depressed in life just because they don't know how to handle aspects of their life. Maybe they're not equipped. Maybe they have trauma in their life. But no one really focuses on that when we talk about a standard American diet. We really talk about the vegans. And I want to say that I've had it up to here about all this division. I was reading the Bible the other day, and there was division with the circumcised and uncircumcised. And I'm thinking, how do you know? If they're circumcised or uncircumcised? Let me show you, So what I'm saying is enough with the divisions, enough with the name calling. This is a 30-day challenge to meet your health where it needs to be. And I am grateful that Karen's going to be doing this. She's going to be in all the classes. We're going to have a lot of wonderful teachers. Anna Marie and Brian Clement are coming to join us, as well as Dr. Stefan Esser. He is an orthopedic doctor that really prescribes vegetables and helps people heal from pain in their body and joint issues. And when you've had a trauma on your body, instead of taking pills, he prescribes a vegan diet. And so, and he's going to be our speaker on May 3rd. We also have Chef Mario Fabri, and we may be giving away, and I have to tell you, we may be giving away for only people who register. It's a portable, and it is a compactable, a collapsible dehydrator. And Mario is going to teach us how to dehydrate foods and why dehydration for foods is a really good way to preserve our foods as well as a raw vegan. And then on May 17th, we're going to wrap things up and we will see where we go from there. So I'm really grateful to Karen for being my partner in this journey, because God sent her first. She has all these years of experience. So now you're going to have both of us and all the wonderful teachers that are going to come on Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. And we will have our conversation, and they're going to be giving a talk, and then there'll be Q&A. Everything will be recorded. So if you can't make those times, then you can watch it at your convenience. But again, I'm excited about the possibility of giving away a dehydrator for any. I know I'm going to get one. So I'm excited about that. And I hope that you are too. Maybe for the first time, giving your body what it needs. Can you remember at that time, Karen, when you made that switch? Because I remember as clear as day, 4 days into my raw vegan challenge, how much energy I felt. I slept better at night. And I didn't know I felt bad. I didn't know I could feel better. And so what was it for you? What was your awareness? What was it? I don't hurt anymore. What was it for you?
The first part was the digestion. And I hear that from a lot of people, that the first healing that comes is in the gut. So right away, they're like, if they were constipated, they're going more. And that was what it was for me. I had, in addition to the cystic acne, I had irritable bowel syndrome for a number of years, and going raw vegan just healed that. That was, one of the first healings was the digestion. And I see that time and time again for people. I work with a lot of women with hormonal and gut health issues and weight loss. And weight sometimes takes a little while because the body is, a lot of the old toxic debris is stuck in the cells. And when you start eating all this wonderful living food, it gives your body the opportunity to release and to detoxify. Mm-hmm. And as that happens, it's just the gut changes, and through the gut changes, the hormones improve. I've seen women be able to get off of hormone prescriptions. I've seen all kinds of things, and beautiful weight loss, and just a healthy gut microbiome leads to all kinds of positive reactions. And one of the main reasons for that is the fiber in plant foods. So all plant foods, whether cooked or raw, are loaded with fiber. I'm talking about whole plant foods, not processed. And so whole plant foods contain that wonderful fiber that we need. And I believe that when you're eating your food raw, that you're getting more water content, you're getting more fiber. It made me happier just to see all those vibrant colors. And also when I was washing dishes, that it was so easy to wash my dishes because there wasn't any oil or grease. It's just easy to just wash them off. So there were so many benefits. It wasn't just one. And one thing that I would like to read very quickly, mm-hmm. My editor had said this to me, and I just thought that this is really the deeper meaning of why raw food and why have plentiful amounts of it. And like you said, Lillian, no matter where you are on your journey, you can do this because it's about adding. It's about adding. It's easy. It's not complex. Mm-hmm. And that's why I think it's so important for people to join your challenge here and to see that this is like a no-brainer. It's just easy and it's enjoyable, and you don't have to force yourself to do anything. If you don't want to give up anything at the beginning, don't give up anything, just add. Mm-hmm. And what my editor said is that because raw fruits and vegetables are the way they were created, they can grow and reproduce. Their live cells can offer vital information to our live cells. When all of our foods are compromised by heat, this information-giving quality is largely, if not entirely, lost. And that's another reason why we want to have raw food in abundance.
You know, and that's one of the things I love to eat. I love to eat. And my mom has struggled with weight her whole life. She was a sugar addict and junk food junkie. And she's now has a major dementia. And I've spoken about this, that my parents have been great teachers. And I also have an older sister, my oldest sister, not my older sister, but my oldest sister is morbidly obese. And I saw that. And I had a visit from my father's sister. She stayed with us for like 3 months. And I became very close to her, and she was all about eating and nutrition, and she was older, but she looked really good, and her hair and her skin was beautiful. So that little introduction to food, it kind of got planted in my heart. But our addictions to processed foods and meat and dairy and sweets and sugar keeps us from maybe looking deeper. I just did a class on the flat earth, you know, whether it's a flat earth or not. I'm not saying I believe one way or another. I'm just saying I'm curious to find out. And what some people do is they villainize. If you don't believe the way I do, I'm going to villainize you. And that's not what we're going to do here, because they've done this with raw vegan. I was raw vegan for 3 years. And eventually I stopped because everywhere I went. Oh, I can't prepare for you. I don't know what to do for you. And people would get so flat, they would get so, I don't know, what's discombobulated over preparing something that is healthy and different and new. So being able to go through this together, and say, I love to eat. And because I love to eat, raw vegan was wonderful because I got to eat as much as I wanted until my stomach was full, and I felt, like I didn't have to eat like every 2 hours or every minute of the day, which I do when I'm bored. And we shouldn't associate. When I did the water fast, I realized how unhealthy our relationship with food is. So we're going to be able to take a look at all of this while we're going through this journey together. You will have one of the best raw vegan coaches going to be in the classroom and going through this challenge. So again, step out of your comfort zone and take away all these myths that you may have said about raw vegan people. And let's just dive in it together. Let's grow in this journey together and see where it takes us. My body is asking for this again. I have been wanting to do this. I've been saying I'm going to do this, all year long. Finally, we're going to do this after the wedding, right after the wedding. And it's in conjunction with the 11th year of the Lillian McDermott radio show. So I want to encourage you to consider joining us for this fast, because you're going to meet other people. They're going to be in this journey, and they're going to be strangers. And by the time we're done, they're going to be your brothers and sisters and aunts and uncles and grandpas and grandmas. So we're going to have a variety of people going through this journey together. So go to whenyouneedafriend.com. When you go there, there's going to be a pop-up that says Raw Vegan Challenge. Click on it. Learn some more about it. There's some videos there. There's the invitation to go raw vegan. And again, I want to say that if you are a carnivore and love, your processed foods, and that's all, and you're holding on to that, I'm telling you, look at the people that are ahead of you. How did your parents die? How did your grandparents die? Because we don't inherit their DNA, we inherit the family recipes. So just take a look, good look at what you want to create as you get older. While you're there, make that decision, invite your friends, because it's fun to do this with your friends and your family members. And they might make fun of you, but that's okay. We're going to lift you up high. So it will balance it out, right, Karen? And so we're going to continue. When you go to whenyouneedafriend.com, please subscribe, become a subscriber. That way, who's in the classroom. And if you are a subscriber, you already have Karen Ranzi's information. Just click on her name and it'll take you to her website. If you want some of her books, or if you want some more of her information, you will get some of her recipes if you subscribe to, if you accept the challenge. Also, I want you to go to my social media, like and follow us, share with your friends and family, our social media as well, and check out Dr. Jennifer Grammeth and the pharmacy. They have been supporting the classroom, and they're a proud sponsor. Also, I want to encourage you to go to the Shop Now bag. We have so many different workshops that we're doing. I want to encourage you, because this is another reason why people are depressed. They've lost their connection to God, not only to nature, but to God. So I want to encourage you to look into the book of Revelation and the 100 lessons from the Exodus, whether it's the DVD or the online version of it. We've got the body code. We've got, so many things that we are doing together. So click on that. And when you click on that and you see all the other things that you can click on and get discounts on, you are helping the classroom out. That's a way for you to donate. And you can become an enrolled student in the classroom, whether it's you donate $1 or $1,000 a month. You can help with your time, your talent, your treasure. Everything that the classroom makes goes to making it better. So if you're looking to tithe or donate, please do so. So today we're talking with Karen Ranzi. She is a raw vegan coach, but she does a lot more. She's an author. She has been all over teaching people how to heal. I'm going to say this, how to reverse their body conditions, because I don't want to get zapped. So how to reverse their body conditions, improve on them, because of nutrition. Food is medicine. And if you are telling me right now, oh, I can't give up on my pie, I can't give up on my meat, let me tell you, we can add flavors to chickpeas or to cashews or to cacao or to, that you will have your wonderful desserts. You will have your wonderful tasting meats, but not like the meats that you buy in the store, which are processed. You're going to get a lot more of that. So please consider taking the challenge. Also, if you want to learn more about Karen, you can go to feelfabulouswithfoods.com and you can learn more about her books. And if somebody wanted to buy your book, Karen, do you have any specials or anything, discounts going on right now?
Yes. And I also wanted to say the website is feelfabulouswithfood.com.
Oh, not foods.
Not plural.
Okay. Food. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm always eating foods.
Yes. And so right now, 2 of my books, including my recipe ebook with 115 easy recipes, is 40% off for a short period for the next couple of weeks. So if you wanted to go, my other website has my books, superhealthychildren.com has all of my books. And there's a products page there at superhealthychildren.com. And if you want the recipe book with 115 easy recipes, it's you put in the code that is the first letter of each part of the title. So it's RVRFF 40. And you'll put in
RV, can you say that again? RV?
RVFF. Wait, it's 2 F's. Raw vegan recipe fun for families. I think it's 2 F's.
RVRFF.
Yeah.
40. Okay, you got it. Okay, so take advantage of it. So we have a question. And so we're not going to have a teacher's pet corner. I want to remind you, if you're just joining us, not going to have a teacher's pet corner. So write a Q if you have a question and write your question after that. So the question is, should diabetics or those with cancer avoid or limit fruit or especially fruit juices?
What a great question. That's an excellent question. So there has been a real negative on fruit. And I've seen people either have little to no fruit. I believe that that's a mistake. I believe that we need to have some fruit. They are loaded with vitamins, and especially fruit for breakfast. Fruit for breakfast is really important, whether it's a smoothie, whether it's just eating your favorite fruits and eating as much as you want. There was a book that came out in the 1980s called Fit for Life, and it sold millions of copies. One of the major premises was fruit for breakfast, and it followed more of a natural hygiene approach. So I believe that fruit is important. It has fiber. The fiber digests slowly, but if you start juicing fruit and taking out that important fiber that creates that slower digestion, then you're going to spike the blood sugar. So those juice boxes that all these parents give their kids, those are horrendous. Don't want to be giving out those juice boxes. Those are very high in sugar. Even if I make a juice, I will juice mostly greens and celery and cucumber, and I will put in maybe a little bit of carrot or a little bit of apple, but I'm not going to put in loads of apples, loads of fruit, because you're taking out the fiber. I recommend keeping the fiber in the fruit to make it easier to digest. So yeah, you could sweeten your juice a little bit, but you want to be focused on your minerals and your greens when you're creating a juice.
Yes. And I think you have a juice recipe for the Raw Vegan Challenge. You have a green smoothie, is it? Or maybe it's a smoothie. I
have both. I have a
juice
and a smoothie in there.
Yes.
My go-to smoothie. That's my quickest one.
let's talk about this myth that it's very complicated to prepare all these foods and be eating raw vegan. It's just too complicated. What do you say to that?
I thought so too, and I did make it complicated at the beginning. There's a lot of raw food recipes in books that, you have to prepare and dehydrate like 3 days taking to make a recipe.
Mhm.
It doesn't have to be that way. A lot of people, I have a 5-week course, and a lot of my students have told me that they couldn't believe how easy it was and that they can now live this way on a daily basis. I'm often called Miss Uncomplicated because I don't want to be in the kitchen all day long. It's one thing if you want to be a chef and you want to be in the kitchen a lot because that's your work, or you just enjoy it so much, which I do enjoy it. But I do so many things. I'm not going to be in the kitchen all day long. So I want to create the easiest, the quickest, and the most satisfying and the best combined recipes that digest easily on a daily basis that can be your go-to recipes. And so that's the kind of thing that I will be talking about in this challenge.
Nice. I'm looking forward to that. Okay, so what about people that have low acid in their stomach? Because they're, digesting fiber and greens and all of that. Is there a tip for people that might be concerned about that?
You may have to go a little bit slower to start building up your acid. I've had people tell me that they couldn't digest salads, the roughage, very well because of that reason. And so they didn't eat much in the way of salad. So we'll give you a lot of alternatives.
What would be a good alternative? Would it be like smoothies or like I have found myself at times putting my salads in a food processor and just chopping it a little bit more. So when I'm chewing, bringing it down. What do you think of that?
I think it's great. It's just a great way to get the nutrition, make it more digestible by grinding it down, by putting it in a smoothie. There's a number of different ways that you can do that, but those are definitely a couple of really good examples.
Are there any supplements that will help you with your digestion process?
It's really all about the food and building up a good microbiome.
Mm-hmm.
There are supplements. I don't say a definite no to like all supplements. I'm not into multivitamins because I just think that people take them and don't realize what's in them.
Mm-hmm.
Iron, for example, can be quite toxic in a supplement. So is calcium.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to take supplementation, you want to look at what you're deficient in first and focus on that. But I always go to food first and seeing if you can build up a healthy gut bacterial environment and also increase your nutrition by going to the foods that have those specific nutrients that you are deficient in. And so going for a nutritional analysis would be a good choice.
What would be a good nutritional analysis?
Well, I did SpectraCell. And I know that that's available all along the East Coast of the United States, but worldwide, I've been able to guide people to different local labs that have different nutritional analysis. That's a good one. It's very thorough.
Very good. Very good.
That's one.
What advice do you have for people that consider themselves vegan, but their veganism is considered really a lot of processed foods?
Yeah, so I would say start to add whole foods, whether cooked or raw, just add whole foods. And you'll be surprised at how your taste buds will change. Because over time, adding all these whole plant foods, you just have more sensitivity to the tastes in those foods. Even people who I've worked with who are eating a tremendous amount of salt, because a lot of processed foods is loaded with salt and doesn't let us taste the real taste of foods anymore.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so if you're eating real food then you're getting this natural flavor from it and you start to crave it. Like when I go to a farmer's market, I just like can't wait to eat the fruits and vegetables. And also getting the variety in is really important. I used to, when my kids were young and we would go to the market, I would tell them to pick a fruit and vegetable for every color of the rainbow, because all of those colors bring in all of the nutrition. So we have so many different colors in fruits and vegetables. And just understand that this is not a limited way of eating. This is not a limited diet. It is so much variety. I can eat different fruits and vegetables 365 days of the year. So I just want to say that some of the same people who are asking me about variety are eating ham and cheese and pizza every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm eating so much variety. And once they see and they can transition to some of these recipes, and there's even whole plant cooked recipes that if you want to start there while also adding more raw, you can do it at the same time. That will be an easier transition for you.
Very nice. So what would you say to someone who's like, almost there, that they may want to try it, but they're afraid of trying it. They're afraid that they won't last. They're afraid that, just all this fear around it. What would you say to someone to kind of take them a step closer to stepping outside their comfort zone?
Yeah. So like I said, with the first, at the very beginning of our talk today, I was talking about getting support. That is going to be the way that you're going to start moving forward. At some point, you may feel completely confident on your own, but right now you're in a space where you need to learn, you need to grow, you need to have community of other like-minded people who are also in the place of wanting to learn and grow. And that's going to bring you to where you want to go with this. And so, I recommend being involved in a supportive program and connecting to other people in community.
Yeah.
That is what is going to do it. And just start moving in this place, starting to look at what you're eating. I always say to people, like, one of the main things that I recommend eliminating first is the dairy. And that's a huge amount of food because, I don't even really call it food. Dairy is so mucus forming. If you can just start by taking out the dairy, that is going to make a big change because it is acid forming, it is mucus forming in the body. According to the research of the China study, it contains casein, which is a cancer trigger. It's a protein that triggers cancer. It's really one of the first things you want to take out. That's already going to be a huge leap for those who have a lot of dairy. I know that for me, I ate dairy every day, loved cheddar cheese. I was very addicted to it. I saw that clearly when I gave it up, the freedom that I had and how I was enjoying the more natural tastes of plant foods. So those would be my recommendations.
Wonderful. Wonderful. And if you're thinking about doing that, take some time this weekend to kind of go meatless for the weekend as you prepare your body to start this yummy, yummy, yummy process of eating raw vegan. We're gonna, you'll get a video to how to prepare, what to do, how to get your body ready, and hopefully we'll hear soon about the dehydrator. Go to my website. The pop-up says 30-day raw vegan challenge. Be curious, watch the videos on there. Watch this video, share it with your friends, invite them to do this challenge. Karen, I am so grateful that you just fell out of the sky and you're going to be a part of this because it gives us a little bit more root, the movement of this changing and improving our health, whether you continue after the 30 days or not, is not my motivation. My motivation is that you feel what food can do to you. And then you'll say, what else did they lie to me about? If food can make me feel this good, that was the question I asked myself. If food can make me feel this good, What else is out there? And that was the question that changed my life once I started eating raw vegan. And I'm so grateful that we're going to do this together. Again, go to whenyounneedafriend.com and click on that, the pop-up, and just learn about it. Karen, we've got about a minute left. What would you like to say that you maybe wanted to say and we're not able to say it?
I just want to tell people not to be afraid, not to hold back, but to open yourself up to something new, even if you do not have support, because I've heard from people who say that, their partner, their spouse is not on the same page. And, you can understand them and be there for them at the same time as getting support for yourself. And that's really one of the most important things that I would like to say.
Wonderful, wonderful. For those of you that are saying right now, we've got to die from something. Well, what if you survive a heart attack? What if you survive a stroke? What if you survive diabetes? And how do you want to live? That's my question to you, and my challenge to you is, how do you want to live? Not everybody's going to die somehow. How do you want to live? And hopefully you will make the choice to get closer to this nutrition that we're talking about today. Karen Ranzi, thank you so much for being part of the classroom today. I'm looking forward to growing with you. And
Thanks,
please remember,
Lillian.
yes, and please remember, we'll be right here waiting for you worldwide at whenyounneedafriend.com. This is Lillian and Lillian McDermott, Karen Ramsey, wishing you love, peace, joy, and unexpected
The opinions and
abundance.
advice expressed
Make
on
it the
Lillian
best day
McDermott's radio show are intended for
ever.
the individual callers and guests on the program and are presented to our wider audience solely for general educational purposes. Please act responsibly and consult personally with your own medical, psychological, or nutritional expert before taking any steps to improve your life.
Okay, everybody, you know what to do. And I hope that our conversation today will spark some curiosity, and give it a try. Give it a try. Karen, thank you so much for being in the classroom today. And I'm looking forward to learning and trying those recipes. Batch cooking. We didn't talk about batch cooking today. So we'll learn all about that next Tuesday, the 19th of April. It'll be our first session together as a raw vegan community. So thank you so much, Karen. We'll see you guys.
Thank you, Lillian. Thanks, everybody, for paying attention and listening to us today.